The views, information, or opinions expressed in this program are those of the individual guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Alaska's News Source or its parent company. Statements made by guests are captured in real time and have not been independently verified by Alaska's News Source.
Raw, revealing conversations with newsmakers and rebels. Everyday people with extraordinary lives and experts from mental health to chasing your best life. We're all in search of answers, so we ask.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me, Rebecca.
This is lovely. First of all, how do you talk about your career and the trajectory that you have taken through your life?
You know, I give advice to high school students, college students, and law students all the time, and I tell them that you don't have to know what you're going to do. Just choose work that excites you, and that's how you're going to do your best work. And if you can serve others doing that, even better. And then just the opportunities open up because people recognize your work ethic and what you can do. So that has been, the trajectory has not been particularly linear, but then looking back, it seems to make sense.
Why law? What was your interest?
Yeah, you know, I majored in music history and art history, cultural history in college at Cornell.
Oh, wow.
And was thinking, it was a Mozart center, so I had a Mozart class that I loved and was thinking about graduate school in music history. And then I just thought, I really like helping people. I'm a good problem solver. People come to me, even in college, came to me for advice. And so I thought I would take the LSAT, the law school entrance exam, and just see. And I did well enough that I could apply to law school and get in. And I chose Northeastern because they have a co-op program where I didn't have to be in class for 3 years. You could go out and work in law offices around the country.
Oh, very cool. Did you find a lot of barriers, though, because of being a woman?
You know, Northeastern, when I started in 1973, 50% of the class was women.
Really?
The only law school in the country that had that ratio. Most other law schools were still at about 20%. So I never felt that in law school. And, you know, I think coming up in the 70s and coming to Alaska in the 70s, things were more open, perhaps, than for the people who went before me.
Oh, interesting. And then were you like, I always want to be a judge, or were you like practicing law and thinking, I'm happy here?
No, the latter. You know, every job I took, I loved my job. I clerked for the Alaska Supreme Court for Justice Ed Burke, and then I went to the Public Defender Agency and was an appellate attorney and a misdemeanor attorney, and then a felony attorney. And then when Brian Shortell went to the bench, he suggested that I apply for his job, and I became the public defender for the state, and did that for many years. And when I went to the bench, I had never really thought about it, but I loved the trial courtroom, so I went to the trial bench, was very happy there. And then when the Alaska Supreme Court opening came up, I applied for that after almost 8 years on the trial bench. Each time, I was never restless or unhappy with what I was doing. It was just a different opportunity presented itself, but I never really would have thought I wanted to be a judge, and probably the steps I took weren't necessary. You know, becoming the public defender wasn't necessarily the way to become a judge, but we have a merit selection system in Alaska for judges, and so I went through that application process 3 times for the chief public defender, for the trial bench, and then again for the Supreme Court.
Wow. So when you became a judge, what goes through your head, though? Like at that moment, you're like, you have this job.
Well, you know, first of all, I always have seen both sides to most questions, so I had no real problem shifting into the role of a neutral. And at the first couple of years, they gave me a civil caseload, because since I'd been doing the criminal work through the Public Defender Agency, and I loved it. It was hard, but it was exciting. I had a steep learning curve and learned about topics that I never knew I wanted to learn about, like hot mix on the highways, the formulas, the asphalt that they put on highways, or mound septic systems. I mean, things that you didn't know you wanted to study up on, but you became an expert. I loved being in the courtroom because I just enjoyed watching a perfect cross-examination, making sure that the rulings were clear and fair, and that the expectations for the lawyers were clear and fair. And I just loved the trial bench.
Wow. But what do you think, though? Like, when you're sitting there and people, by the time they get to you, have so much at stake, either money or freedom, like,
Or children.
I just can't imagine the responsibility that you must walk in feeling.
No, it is awesome. It's really serious work. I worked really hard. I had a little girl at the time. She was, I think, about 5 when I went on the bench, and I would get up every morning at 5 a.m. for 2 hours to prepare my motion hearings in the afternoon, so that she and my husband could sleep, and then I drove the carpool, and that way in the evening when I came home, I could focus on my family and not have to be doing my homework. So I did the homework by myself with my coffee in the early morning. But it was a steep learning curve, and but I loved the work. I loved the hard work.
Mm. Do you think, how many children do you have?
Just one.
Just one?
And 2 grandchildren.
2 grandchildren.
Yes.
That must have been different for your daughter, though. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to have a mother who is also a judge and a very prominent person in Alaska. What was that like for her as well?
She signed up for youth court when she was in junior high, so that may have been a slight influence. But then when she did her first youth court trial, she came back that day and said, "Mom, I just never want to be a trial lawyer. I don't know how you even did that."
What did she not like about it?
So stressful for the client, yeah.
How do you let go of that then? Like you're as yourself, like when you make a decision that maybe you wish you didn't have to make?
There were times where I would have to make a decision that made me sad, but that was what the law required, or, I knew it was going to be disappointing to the parties. And really, as a judge, almost in every case, half the courtroom is disappointed with the decision. But I think the main thing was to make sure people felt that they had been heard, that they'd had an opportunity to be heard, and that I clearly explained the decision. And that, I think, that procedural fairness really helps people accept the decision. They know that they knew I'd been working hard. They knew I knew the case when they were arguing a motion based on the questions I asked. They knew I was prepared, and I tried to be very clear in my decisions, whether they were oral or written. And I think that is the most important thing in the whole concept of procedural fairness, people feeling that you've explained something, they've had a right to be heard, and that it's not just an ad hoc, off-the-cuff decision, that you're following the law.
Do you take notes while you're doing it? I mean, one of the things that always strikes me is I've done a lot of, trial court cases as a reporter.
Yes.
And I'm always really struck by the end how the judges talk about their decision making, and it feels like very thoughtful and very planned out, and they are not quick to speak. Is the whole time? Are you thinking like this is?
I definitely take notes when I'm listening to anything because it really helps me focus. And then I always had a prepared kind of list of questions that I had from the cases that had been cited or the arguments being made, and so I had that list. So yes, I definitely took notes, and sometimes on a judge-tried case, if it had a lot of moving pieces, you needed to take notes because you're the one who's going to decide the trial, and you need to make written findings, so you needed those notes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're talking about being in court. What would you say makes a good trial lawyer? Is it someone flashy or like?
No, I think it's getting in touch with your own authentic voice. I think juries can spot baloney pretty easily, and so if, lots of different styles work. And in fact, when I was on the Supreme Court, I would tell not only my law clerks, but the other law clerks, if there was going to be a really effective oral advocate coming into the courtroom, I'd say, come listen to them, how conversational they are when they discuss the case with the court. And it's not one size fits all. Lots of different styles can be effective as long as they are authentic.
What makes a good attorney?
Well, I think that, nothing beats work, the work that you put into preparation, and having a good connection with your client so that they listen to good advice.
What do you say to people? I think a lot of people sometimes are like, the whole world is fixed, the whole system's rigged. It's not for me. Do you feel confident in the judicial system?
Absolutely. Our state judicial system is one of the best in the country, if not the world, and it's because of our judicial selection system, which is a merit selection. So basically, if there's an opening on the court, any lawyer who meets the minimum qualifications of residency and practice can apply. And then the Alaska Judicial Council, made up of 3 public members appointed by the governor and 3 attorneys chaired by the Chief Justice. So I had 9 years of chairing that council in the 3 terms I spent as chief. Do the most intensive vetting process on every judicial candidate, checking not only what the attorneys think about them, but also every employer, credit checks, writing samples, giving a lot of information so that the best available timber is what the framers of the Constitution called it. The best available timber could be selected from the applicants, and then at least 2 names go to the governor. And then the governor can choose anybody off the list sent to the governor, but the governor can't reject the list. The governor must select from the list so that there is a political component in the second half of the second stage of the rocket, but the first stage is really all about merit, and it's a very transparent process. Unlike, for example, Hawaii, we know who the candidates are. Their bar polls of every attorney in the state who can rate them is made public. Their biography is made public, and the vote that the council takes is public, so that we have such a transparent system that people know who's applied, know who's gone through to the governor, and can, I think, really have a lot of confidence in the quality. But the real trick is, not trick, but the second piece of it is we have a retention system where that same council not only talks to the lawyers, but police officers, jurors, social workers, the users of the system, to rank those and rate those judges. And then the voters get those recommendations from the council and can vote in a knowledgeable way and get all of the raw data if they want it.
What do you think when people are always like, oh, the activist judges?
I think somebody once said, if you don't agree with the decision, you might think it was an activist judge. But frankly, our judges are really not ideological because there's no politics, in the equation. They aren't selected politically. And in the retention process, you're not even allowed to campaign unless there's organized opposition against you. So, and that's very rare. So I think keeping politics out of it really means the judges have the freedom to do what they believe the law requires and to follow that law faithfully. And the judges, I've worked with them, again, I was on the bench, including my senior justice service for 38 years. And I've worked with judges all over the state. And it is just generally speaking, such a dedicated, sincere, hardworking group.
We have, talking about someone coming out against you, we've had, every once in a while we do have people, judges, that there's campaigns to say, don't say yes.
Don't retain this, no on this person, yeah.
How do you feel when those happen? Because it always turns into like a political campaign on behalf of whoever is out in the world mad about something.
Right. Well, now I think with social media, people can have their own, judges can have a Facebook page and kind of introduce themselves.
Oh, they're allowed to do that. Interesting.
You know, if there's organized opposition, a judge can respond. You know, the judge isn't a sitting duck. But again, it's pretty rare that there's organized opposition. But yes, the judge can respond. Generally, they don't raise money because, again, you don't want the people who are appearing before you spending money on a campaign, which is, again, why Alaska's system is really the crown jewel of our Constitution. It's the envy of other states. It was one of the last, since we were the 49th state, one of the last judicial systems to be set up by Constitution. And I know from my time in the Conference of Chief Justices, serving with chiefs from every other state, our system is the envy of many.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What is your favorite kind of case to preside over?
You know, it's sort of like, I think Justice Brennan one time asked him his favorite case, and he said, it's like your children, you don't want to pick among them. I was always engaged in whatever case was before me because of the point you made, Rebecca, that it's such an important case to the people who are litigating it, to the clients. This is the most important thing in their life, often. And so putting your attention and your dedication and your work into that case is what's most important. So whichever case was before me is the one I really enjoyed. And of course, I'm mediating now, now that I'm not on the bench actively anymore, and I'm helping people resolve their disputes before they go to court or before they take the risk of going to trial, to try to have a situation where they can resolve their case amicably.
What do you do for kind of your own mental health for coming to terms with something that you've had to do in a case?
Well, you know, if you're asking about hobbies or what I do,
or just like your process for like letting something go and being like, I wish I didn't have to, but the law states X, Y, Z.
Yeah, that was not a difficult challenge. You know, there were times where judges aren't legislators, they're not making policy. And so if a policy adopted by the legislature in the form of a statute came to us with a challenge of some kind, the analysis was not, do I agree with this policy? The analysis was, does this meet the constitutional requirements? Is the if you're interpreting a statute, is the wording clear? You can see what the intent was behind it from the hearings. So deciding is important because it's the most important thing for the clients. But once I decided, unless somebody moved for reconsideration and showed that there was a case I overlooked or something, I had missed something, generally I could let go of it. Let go of it in the sense of not rue what had happened, although I never lost sight of the fact that it affected people's lives.
If you could go back and do everything all over again, would you do it the same?
You know, there's nothing that I really regret at all. You know, as the first woman on the Supreme Court, my colleagues were so incredibly welcoming to me, and I was alone on that court before the second woman, Morgan Christen, was appointed. I was alone for I think 13 years before, and so if I have a regret, it would have been fun to have another woman sooner. On the other hand, the men on the Supreme Court I served with were fantastic, welcoming, collaborative. That court was such a privilege to serve on because of the incredible intellectual horsepower of my colleagues, the care with which they approached each case, and really their sincere belief of trying to do the right thing.
Is that stressful, though, to be the woman? Do you feel like everything you're doing is being examined under the lens of like, well, she's a woman? Do you feel that?
I think as women who are the first in their field, you work the hardest. You work as hard as you can so that nobody can say, oh, well, that wasn't up to snuff, you know, and so I just worked really hard and efficiently to the extent that I could and did my best.
What
You know what
advice?
Sandra Day O'Connor said about, I asked her the same question one time, and kind of, she said, I just wanted to make sure, I was the first, yes, I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to be the last. So I would say ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Who are your heroes?
Oh, there are so many women judges. Sandra Day O'Connor is really one of my heroes. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, one of my heroes. I got to know them through the National Association of Women Judges, and they were very active members, and so I had a chance to get to know them. And of course, both of them came to Alaska. Sandra Day O'Connor more than once because she's a fisher.
I forgot about that.
You know, the last time she was up here, 2012, we had a group of the Alaska Supreme Court members and some other people from the Bar Association came over to my house for dinner, and she'd been fishing, and she brought me a salmon that she had caught, and it was flash freeze-dried, or not freeze-dried, but flash frozen. And I said, I don't think, it's like shaking Paul McCartney's hand, you don't want to wash it. I don't think I can eat the fish. And she said, of course you'll eat the fish. It's a perfectly good fish. But it was in my freezer for years because it said SDO in magic marker. They had, in Sharpie, they had marked the fish SDO because she had caught it. And I thought, I don't think I can eat her fish. I liked seeing it in the freezer.
That's so cool. What did you make with it?
Well, eventually it was in the freezer for so long we moved to another house, and I don't think it probably would have been very good to eat. So I liked having it. It was, yeah.
That's awesome. Best piece of advice for someone starting out?
Oh, I think and I give this advice to a lot of young attorneys. Do what excites you. Do the work that excites you, because that's, again, how you will excel. Don't worry about, this is what I want, and figuring out to plot the steps, because there's no way to predict what's going to happen, and you don't want to lose the joy of the journey in trying to figure out what are the rungs of the ladder that I must climb. So you just do what you love to do. That is going to get the recognition because you're going to do your best work when you love what you do, and just do it with a sense of service to others, and then keep your just keep open to opportunities when they are presented. But I think finding work that you love is the main thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, this has been a pleasure for me too. Really fun to chat with you.
Thank you.